I'm not sure that I know how to use this because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. You're logged in. Allow to install filter on camera. Extensions. File 1 is on. I'm not exactly sure how this works. Okay, I thought I was on live. Hello. I'm trying to figure out how this thing. There is this new software that I'm trying to use, and I'm trying to figure out how it works. And so, say stream setting. Okay, does not support closed caption. So, to be honest, I don't even know how I ended up here. Oh my god. Okay, this is. I'm on Chrome. I really don't know how I ended up here. There's this new software that I'm trying out, and create highlight video, add stream marker. So there are a whole bunch of buttons here. Um, it and I'm looking at this and I'm going, how does this work? But are we going to let this defeat us? No, we won't. Channel level settings. Overlay breaks. Choose from your videos. Okay. But anyway, I'm here if anybody had any questions to ask. Hello, Leonard, George. You know, um, it's strange because it's telling me I'm using a webcam. I don't know how I'm using a webcam, but it's making it seem like I'm streaming, live streaming. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this works, but anyway. Hello, Anglima. I hope you guys are having a great week. If you're just joining, I'm just trying to figure out. There's this new software I'm trying out here, trying to see how it works. Um, and I'm like scrolling through here, Your activity. And then what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to let me um, put this in different formats so that if you're watching on a computer, it will be horizontal. If you're watching on a phone, it's supposed to be vertical. So, you know how they're always promoting these things to content creators and saying, hey, your viewers would like to see this or they would like to see that. So, but I will tell you that sometimes it can be confusing because there's just so much. They're like, try this, put this, analyze this, connect this other thing, and so on and so forth. And then you're trying to do all those things. Like right now, um, like whatever it is that I'm using right now, it's not letting me see. Okay, I see down here. So it lets me see how many people are on. That's about that. I can put on closed captions. So if, for instance, you don't understand what I'm saying, you can understand what I'm saying. But anywho, it's supposed to be fun. So what's going on? What's crack-a-lacking in your neck of the woods? Just a quick reminder, I do have 2 events coming up. On the 19th, we'll have a one-day workshop, how to set up your ancestor altar and how to do a ritual on it. It's going to be for one day only for 2 hours. And then the next day, which is November the 20th, we're going to do a 7-day spiritual fast and cleanse. So if you happen to miss the last one, I do have another one coming up. You know, this is November. We're going into December, and some of us need to be winding down and cleaning up the body, getting it ready for a little bit of hibernation, if you know what I mean. Okay. And I'm not going to be doing too much on TikTok like I used to because TikTok is so difficult for me to use. It's just hard. I don't know if some of you were on the other time I was trying to use TikTok. I lit up incense and I was dancing in the smoke of the incense, and then TikTok sent a message that I was violating the community guidelines. How the hell that was the case, I have no idea. Just lighting up incense. Okay. The other day I was talking about OF accounts. It put me on a 1 week suspension. So just little things like that. I could be holding up something like this on TikTok. TikTok will send a message on the screen. Oh, why are you selling something? You're not supposed to be selling something. So so TikTok makes it so difficult for me to teach. It makes it so difficult for me to teach because if I have something in my hand and I want to share that or show that, I just get these crazy ass messages on TikTok saying, "Oh, you're not supposed to be selling something," or "Why are you selling something?" Or so how on earth am I supposed to teach if I can't show anything, can't demonstrate anything? So I hope you understand that's the reason why I just basically went to Patreon. I just basically went to Patreon because it's just like a hassle. It's just like a big, 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 big hassle. Just doing TikTok. So yes, I'm live on TikTok now, but I'm just putting it off to the side. Okay. I'm not gonna make TikTok. I'm not gonna make TikTok the focus of our little chat this evening. So I'm just putting it off to the side. If folks happen to come on TikTok. And the other thing with TikTok is they want you to be tapping the screen. They want you to be doing all these things. Oh, tell people to share, tell people to tap the screen, tell people to give you the gifts, tell them to do this. And they want you to be doing all these things to be generating income for them. So they want, TikTok wants you to be busy generating income for them, but then they go ahead and start censoring you for the most stupid things. Why would you censor me for lighting up incense? I just lit up incense and I'm getting this thing on the screen. Oh, you violated community guidelines. So it's just it's not worth it. And that's why I just stopped telling people on TikTok to tap the screen, like and share, and do this other thing. And that's why I stopped. It's not worth it because I'm doing all these things trying to get engagement on the platform, and the platform is making it difficult for me to do what I do best, which is create content and deliver the content. So I will just leave the TikTok on for those who probably want to, catch me on TikTok, but I'm going to like focus on YouTube. It's just an aggravation to the soul. So for the ancestor workshop, we're going to put together an ancestor altar, okay? And we're going to put together an altar according to our means. Okay, so we're not saying, oh, go buy this expensive bookcase or go buy this expensive table or go into the forest and hew down a tree and start shaping it and fixing it into a table or altar for yourself. We're not going to be doing any of that. Okay, we're going to use what is easily affordable to put together our ancestor altar. So I do encourage you to register for that. I have made it affordable. Where is Jewel? I sent my email about the altar course. I've responded to all the emails that I got. So if you emailed me, then I have responded. If you haven't gotten a response from me, then just recognize that the email did not come through. Okay. So I've responded to the emails about the altar course. This is what I suggest. If you come to the ancestor altar course that I'm having on the 19th of November, it's just going to be for 2 hours, okay? You can use that information for building other kinds of altars. Okay? You can use that information to build other kinds of altars. So don't look at it as, oh, okay, she showed us how to build an ancestor altar. I guess she has to do this other course again to teach us how to do this other kind of altar and the other kind of altar. Truthfully, once you know how to put together one altar, you can practically put together any other altar that you want. But the reason why I am doing this workshop is that some people learn through seeing and doing. So, they could be watching one of my YouTube videos saying, okay, put together your altar and do this and this and this. And I'm just doing a verbal description of how to do it. But some people want a teacher with them right there by their side. First, do this. 2, do that. 3, do this. 4, do that. And I personally learn very well with that methodology as well. If someone says to me, okay, here's the first thing you do this first thing. Matter of fact, if the person says to me, get your materials together, okay, this is what we're going to do. I learn very well that way. Because once I have a material list, I'm like, oh, okay, here are the kinds of things that I need, the materials that I need to successfully fulfill this project, whatever project that may be. Okay. So I'm a big fan of lists. I have to-do lists. Okay. Like every day I put together in the evening, I usually put together email, I put together to-do lists because it helps to organize the mind when you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And you're not like, oh, I forgot this. Even when I go to do my groceries, I have a list. Okay. If I'm going to present a class, I have a list. Okay. If I'm going to give a speech, I have a list. I'm a great fan of lists. Okay. You usually use your text message section for it. Yeah. Because you might be thinking, oh, yeah, I have it in my mind. How many times have you gone to do groceries and you're done with all the groceries? You spent like 5 hours of doing groceries, get home just to realize that you forgot the one thing. And you're like, because you forgot the one thing. One thing. You know what I'm saying? So that has happened to me so many times. That has happened to me so many times. Go to the grocery store, buy a whole bunch of things, and forget the important things I needed to get. So I'm a great fan of lists. Even when you're doing your rituals, it doesn't hurt to have a list when you are doing your rituals, truth be told. And you know, okay, I'm doing a ritual. Here's a reason why I'm doing this ritual, and here are the things I need for that ritual. If you're conducting a ceremony, whether it's a religious ceremony, a spiritual ceremony, it's good to have a list. I can usually tell if people have a list or not by how organized they are when they are conducting ceremonies. I have been to some ceremonies where it's just been pure chaos. The person who's leading the ceremony, you see them, they show up and they're like, oh my God, I forgot my favorite watch. Where did I leave my shoes? No, these are not the shoes I wanted to wear. Then they're like, okay, where are the list of participants? Or have you seen some MCs who are just not organized? That one is just like hilarious. If you have MCs who are not organized, the MC will come and say, what's the name of the bride? What's the name of the groom? You know what I'm saying? They don't know the name of the bride. They don't know the name of the groom. And they're there going, uh, 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 and you're looking at them like, you know what I'm saying? So lists are very helpful things to do in your personal life, your business life, your professional life, what a social life. It's great. Have a list. List all the things you will need. And when you have a list, and let's say, for instance, you need to teach someone how to do what you're doing, or you need someone to help you do what you're doing, you will take that list and you give it to the person and say, here's what's needed. You're not just talking out the side of your mouth. Okay, yeah, you need to get some potatoes, you need to get some cheese, you need to get some ground beef, you need to get this, you need to get that. There's nothing like being organized. It saves you stress, it saves you conflict, it saves you aggravation, it saves you frustration, it saves you heartbreak. You can even have a list for your guests, who you want to attend your event and who you don't want to attend your event. You put it in a list so that you don't forget. And that's important if you've hit menopause, okay? Because when you hit menopause, you tend to forget a lot of things, especially people who have offended you. I have people who have offended me. And this is the funny thing about menopause. I can look at a person and I know they offended me, but I can't remember why they offended me. But I know I'm angry at them for something, but I can't remember exactly what it is they did to me. Okay. And I've had instances of where people come up to me, they're like, "Ah, Dr. Tochi, good to see you. How are you?" And I'm like, "Fine." And there's something in my mind telling me this person was not good to you. This person was not nice to you. But I can't remember exactly what the person did. I just can't remember. And I'm like thinking and thinking and thinking, and I'm going, I know this person offended me. I know they did something against me, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. And so here am I making nice with somebody. Meanwhile, the back of my mind, I'm trying to remember what exactly they did to me. So when you've hit menopause, or if you're a man, when you've hit andropause, a list will help you. If you have an event that you don't want certain people to come to you, write their names down. I don't want this person showing up for that event. You may not remember exactly why you don't want that person to come, but at least a person's name on your list, you don't want them to come. You don't want them to show up at the door saying, "Hi, how are you?" And you're making nice. But there's somewhere in the back of your mind, you're like, I know I'm not supposed to let this person in, but I can't remember exactly why. Okay. So lists are fantastic. If you are working, say, with your spiritual practitioner or religious leader, and they want you to get some things together, okay, for your ritual or for your ceremony or for your whatever it is that they're doing for you, make a list. Because that list, if you make that list and keep it, it will be handy for you down the road. Should you choose to repeat that ceremony, you will have that list there for you. Okay. So these are practical things that we can do. You don't have to be a spiritual person to know these things that I just talked about. It's called being organized. It's called organization. You know what I'm saying? It's just being organized. That's all it is. You're just trying to be organized. I put out a video clip today about an original way for getting in touch with your guardian spirit or guardian angel. I believe I posted it on. Hold on. I posted it on TikTok. I didn't post it on YouTube yet because I was going to actually discuss it on YouTube. And right now that I'm talking about it, I forgot to post it on Facebook and Instagram. It's called, let me see here. The original, here it is. Okay, so I just posted it today. So if you haven't seen that, where's the camera over here? Yeah. All right. It's called The Original Method to Connect with Your Guardian Spirit or Guardian Angel. Why do we need to know little things like this? Hello, Ade Damola, Ade Dotun. Good day to you too. Thank you for joining us. I'm also live on YouTube, so I'm looking both ways. Okay. So um why is it important to know how to connect to your guardian angel or your guardian spirit? Okay. In mystical tradition, in mystical tradition, it is understood that our conscience or our intuition is a channel through which your guardian spirit or guardian angel speaks to you. You say, I'm good. You good, madam? Okay, YouTube is sent a request. What request did you send? Did you send a request to join the workshop or retreat? I'm not sure what request that is. What request did you send? Okay. So, your guardian spirit or your guardian angel will use your intuition or your second brain, okay, to communicate with you. I sent a request to bring me up. I got something to discuss. So, what do you have to discuss, sir? Guardian angel. I got to know what you want to discuss before um, I start touching anything on this TikTok screen, because I don't want to be messing with it if I don't have to. I'm not an expert on TikTok, so what exactly are you trying to? What exactly do you have to discuss? Here's the original way to connect with your friends. Okay, so I'm just sharing that on Instagram, and then after Instagram, I'll share that on Facebook. Okay. There are sometimes, have you ever felt like there are situations where you wake up in the morning and you have this funny sensation in your gut? You feel some kind of way. And when you start thinking about it, you know that something's up, but you don't know exactly what's up. You know that something is going on, but you don't know exactly what's going on. And sometimes you may have that sensation in your gut area in addition to a strange dream. Okay. Or really, you can't. What is this? YouTube request to discuss. Comment below. I don't know what this means. It says AI YouTube request to discuss, comment below. I don't even know what the hell that means. Something is boring my mind. I need someone your advice, please. Yes, book an appointment with me. Go to my website at tochi.us or drtochi.com and book an appointment. Yeah, just no need to book a divination. Just book a consultation, and I'll gladly discuss your issue with you. I don't discuss people's private issues on social media. I know that there's a whole bunch of people who do that. And they come on social media, and I don't know what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why somebody will come on social media and the host will be saying, okay, what's your full name? And they'll say, where do you live? They're saying, and they'll say, my wife did this to me, or my husband did that to me, or my boss did that to me. And they don't realize that they have so many people watching this. And you're on social media putting out your your private life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't encourage that. I don't encourage that. When I go on TikTok and I'm watching people do that, like, it's entertaining, but I'm not going to be putting out my private life or personal life or my business life on social media. I don't do that. I do my best to avoid controversy. I just do my best to avoid controversy. There's just too much controversy online. And then later, the person next, and then sometimes you go on TikTok and you're seeing people. This person is you know, this person is like upset at the other person, and why, why did you do this to me online, and you didn't do this to me online, and why you said this to me online, and everybody was watching. Well, if you didn't put your business out there online, you wouldn't have that problem in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So I am very, very careful. And that's why I discourage people from putting their personal information in the comment section when I'm doing my videos. Do not put your personal information. Some people will go to the comment section and they'll say, hi, okay, I enjoyed this video on, whatever topic it is. My date of birth is March 17, 1972. Why are you putting your date of birth in a comment section on a public video? Why? Why are you doing that? And then you wonder how scammers got your information. Well, no. Anything you want to discuss with me, we'll discuss it in private. Because if the shoe were on the other foot, if it were me, I would want you to discuss my issues in private. I don't want to be out there for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be part of my affairs. You know what I'm saying? So, that video, I put it out there and I said, um, you know, there it's important that you know how to get in touch with your guardian spirit or guardian angel. Now, some people will call it guardian angel, some people call it guardian spirit. Doesn't matter what you call it. Some people will call it your higher self. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you call it, as long as you're in touch with it. Don't care. You can call it the grand poobah of the hoo-ha. Doesn't matter, as long as you're in touch with it. Because in the absence of being able to get a divination, in the absence of being able to ask somebody else for their opinion, in the absence of all that, your very first line of counsel is your guardian spirit. Your very first counsel, the very first advice you get about your life, the very first guidance, the very first source of guidance you have in your life is your intuition, is your gut. And what is communicating to you through your gut is your guardian spirit or your guardian angel. Everybody shows up in this world with that kind of spirit guide. We don't show up in this world alone. We don't just show up like, show up and, we're casting about for some spiritual assistance. No. And this is why you have some children, they can see these beings. It's we who are the adults who discourage them. We the adults are the ones who discourage the children, and we say to them, you're not seeing anything, it's just your imagination. But the child is actually seeing something and hearing something and communicating with something and interacting with something. But because we, the adults, we have lost that ability to be in direct contact with the divine, we now downplay and downgrade the child's experience. And so when those beings want to get in touch with us, because we no longer allow ourselves to see them, they have to use our parasympathetic nervous system to get in touch with us. And your gut, which is in your solar plexus, which is in your belly, which is oftentimes called your second brain, is connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. So basically, your guardian spirit or your guardian angel is like, okay, I know Dr. Tochi can no longer see me and can no longer hear me because of years of conditioning by the adults in her life, but I can still reach out to her. I can still send her messages through her parasympathetic nervous system. So I will send an energetic imprint to her parasympathetic nervous system. And it will register in her conscious mind through her solar plexus. So Dr. Tochi is sitting there at Starbucks, probably having a latte with dairy products she knows she has no business drinking because she's lactose intolerant. And then she starts feeling this twinge in her belly. But here's a challenge. Dr. Tochi is sitting there drinking this latte with dairy in it, and she doesn't know if that twinge is coming from the lactose in the milk or if there's something else going on. Because she has not trained herself to know the difference between something physically going on in her body and something spiritual going on in her body. Many of us are like that. So we might have a little rumble go on in the belly, but many of us can't tell the difference if that rumble is from something that is going on in our energetic environment or if it's because we're physically putting something in our belly. Many of us don't know the difference. And to learn the difference, we have to practice. So Dr. Tochi is sitting there and having a little rumble in her belly. And she's saying to herself, is it because of the dairy in this latte that I'm drinking? Or is there a message that is coming through to me from the spiritual world? And so she puts it to the test. She stops drinking the latte and she starts focusing on her solar plexus. If that rumble or pain goes away and doesn't come back, she knows that it is very likely that was a spiritual message. If that rumble and or the pain continue and she starts getting her tummy bubbling, starts cramping, needs to run to the bathroom, then she knows it's the lactose in the milk. And I know I've kind of simplified it, but that should give you some ideas to what we're talking about. Our spiritual crew will use our sympathetic nervous system to talk to us. I repeat, our spiritual crew will use our sympathetic nervous system to talk to us. And these are some of the things that we kind of explored in the last retreat that I just completed a couple of weeks ago. Claim your authority, the Claim Your Authority retreat. Okay. Because when you start centering yourself, when you start returning to yourself, you can start telling the difference between what is a spiritual signal and what is a physical signal. You can start telling the difference between what is worrying you psychologically and what is worrying you spiritually. Okay. This is a skill that many of us need to acquire. Let me ask this question. What I just talked about now, is it something that you are interested in learning about? Is this the kind of thing that you want to learn about? Or you just want to have rituals? Oh, tell me how many candles to buy, how many pieces of bay leaves I need to throw up into the air so that when I wake up in the morning, I can see some bags of money under my bed, kind of ish. Because maybe that's what people want to learn about. We have to start moving away from, okay, everything is new to you. You want to learn all of it. Fantastic. We need to start moving away from depending on all these external things that we do in rituals and not learning what we can do for ourselves. Okay, Missouri Panda. Okay, Miss Grace. Many of us think that we're helpless, and many of us think that we're powerless, but we're not. You're not helpless, you're not powerless. You just don't know what to do. You don't know what to do to solve your problem. You don't know what to do to get out of the situation in which you find yourself. But it doesn't mean that you're powerless, it doesn't mean that you're helpless. And if there's anything else, if there's nothing else that you get from our chat this evening, you need to get that. You are not powerless and you are not helpless. You can solve your problems. You just have to be shown how to do it. You are not helpless. You're not powerless. Hello. Oh, hello, Gladys. Thanks for the follow. Good stuff. You are not helpless. You are not powerless. That is the first step for many of us. We have to get that fundamental. Because if you don't have that fundamental in place, I am not helpless, I am not powerless. You could be doing all kinds of rituals. You could be doing all kinds of spells. You could be doing all kinds of invocations, incantations, prayer, fasting, cleansing, and none of it will work. That's just the plain truth. And you could be paying all kinds of people to help you. Okay? You could be paying all kinds of people to help you. Oh, I want this person to help me. I want the other person to help me. I need this person. And you're paying for all these things. But if you are still centering yourself in this whole spiritual ecosystem as a helpless, hopeless, powerless being, you will find out that some of the stuff you're doing works and then it stops working. Some of the things you do will work and then it'll stop working. Have you ever experienced that? You were doing something, you're like, yeah, it's working. This thing is really working. And then suddenly the thing you're doing stops working. Anybody experience that? And then you're there wondering, what did I do? Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? And then some of us will start saying, oh, who is putting witchcraft on us? Who is putting a curse or hex on us? Who is doing blah, 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 blah to us? And this is the reason why I will do a divination for some folks. And when we ask during the divination, is this person at fault? Is this person contributing to their problems? The divination will say, yes, this person is contributing to their problems. And the person says, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't break any rules. Yes, you did. You broke some spiritual rules. You broke some spiritual rules. And so the first spiritual rule is know thyself. And people say, oh, yeah, that was what was written over the Delphi oracle, the Greek Delphi oracle. No, that statement predates the Greeks. Know yourself. What does it mean? What do we mean by know yourself? What do you understand by know yourself? Anyone? When you hear that statement, know thyself, what does it mean to you? I need to drink some water. I'm even afraid to drink water on TikTok because I might start drinking water on TikTok and TikTok will say, you have just violated community guidelines. So when you hear that phrase, know thyself, know yourself, what does it mean to you? When you hear that phrase, know yourself. I started going back to the gym, and it's just amazing how in just a couple of weeks I have gained um, muscle power back. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. I'm so grateful. See, because before, a few weeks ago, I couldn't do this. You see how I'm lifting this whole thing? I would just say maybe 2 months ago, I couldn't do that. I didn't have enough tone in my arm to do that. But you see how I'm able to just with one hand, you know? Just just 1 month of going to the gym. Who knows what we mean by that? Or what do you think it means? Thank you, Rarest Jewel. What do you think it means? Know thyself. What do you think it means? Know thyself. Anyone? Excuse me. What does it mean? When you hear that phrase, know thyself, know yourself, what does it mean to you? Okay, Inspired Love says, know what you believe. Rarest Jewel says, know your limits or strength. Be honest. Okay. Anyone else? What do you think it means? Know thyself. Know yourself. Know thyself. What do you think it means? Not your name, but the you on the inside, your thinking, your character, your beliefs, how you act in something situation. Okay. Anyone else? Know thyself. What do you think it means? Okay, how you act in a given situation. Okay. What does it mean? Know thyself. You see people quoting that. Oh yeah, to be the best person you can possibly be, know thyself. And they have stickers and they put it on the back of their car, and they have it as books on it, and they have posters saying know thyself, and everybody's writing all these things, know thyself. What does it really mean? What does know thyself actually mean? Some people just believe it's a saying that sounds good, it sounds powerful. Whenever you say know yourself, they'll say deep. Oh, that's deep. Okay, next, the dark phoenix, to know your habits and inner world, also where you can improve your weaknesses. Okay, to become wiser and clearer. Okay, anyone else? I want us to jump into this. This is Spirituality 101. I'm about to discuss with you why the law of attraction, manifestation, doesn't work for a lot of folks. Inspire Love says from your history, your abilities and goals. Okay. Well, let's look at it this way. When you have that statement that says, know yourself, why do I call it Spirituality 101? Why do I call that Spirituality 101? Know thyself, know yourself is fundamental to spirituality, because if you don't know what you are, and notice what terms I'm using here. If you don't know what you are, not who you are, but what you are, navigating life will be challenging for you. You have to know what you are, not who you are, but what you are. Who you are is Tochi. Who you are is Gladys. Who you are is Joy, and so forth. Who you are is Peter. Who you are is Jane. That's not what that statement is speaking to. Know thyself means recognize what you are, recognize your spirit. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Just when we're about having fun, then we start getting internet issues. Okay, all right. So, as we're saying, know thyself refers to your spirit. If you don't know what you are, then your foundation as you exist on this planet is problematic. It becomes very, very problematic because having inner authority over our reality emerges from our spirit. For me to have authority over the reality in which I am, I have to know what I am. Imagine that you are who you are. Let's say your name is Joy Amoya. Joy Amoya, can Joy Amoya just stand up and willy-nilly say, I'm going to go start exerting authority over the Brown household? That's not about to happen because Joy Amoya is not of the Brown household. Joy Amoya can go and exert authority over the Amoya household, but not over the Brown household. A lot of us think that we exert authority over our reality just by the way we appear. Okay, I've got some nice human hair on my head. I've got some nice clothes on. I have sprayed some good perfume. Therefore, that is sufficient for me to dominate my reality. And you find out very quickly that that's not the case because even though you're looking a certain way on the outside, you have not yet embodied your inner authority. You have not embodied your spirit. Therefore, when you know yourself, and it's not just what you like and what you don't like, it's not just what are your strengths and what your weaknesses, but if you know your true nature, and that true nature is spiritual, then you will discover that you are now controlling your reality better. And when you say, I want this to be so, it will be so. Because you are speaking from your inner authority and not just from your tongue, your mouth, and your body. This is the reason why affirmations fail. This is the reason why invocations fail. This is the reason why prayers fail. These are the reasons why a whole bunch of things we say fail. Because we're just saying the words with our mouths, our lips, our tongues, but it is not coming from the spirit. Know thyself. That's the first thing. If you do not know yourself, things will be difficult. Life will be challenging because you're going to be there casting and binding, shaking your head, casting and binding, casting and binding, casting and binding, casting and binding, and nothing will happen because you will just be like an empty symbol, a noisemaker. Just having a verbal diarrhea. And many of us go through this life with a verbal diarrhea. And we think we're doing something by saying all the words we say, and we think we're saying something by all the words we say, but we have to realize that results don't lie. Results don't lie. You're either rich or poor. You're either pregnant or not pregnant. You're either fat or skinny, and so on and so forth. Results don't lie. Now, I could be a fat person. I'm a big girl. I'm a healthy girl. And I can put on all the makeup I want in the world and all the human hair in the world. And I could spray all the expensive perfume in the world. But if I'm fat, I'm fat. If I'm heavy, I'm heavy. If I'm fluffy, I'm fluffy. If I am whatever it is, that's what I am. Despite all the things I am putting on the outer part of me, results don't lie. So, the real meaning of know thyself is know your true nature, and your true nature is spiritual. If I understand that I just came here to abide for a little while, and I came here to do one or two things, that will change the perspective by which I see my reality. If I can know that, and not just say it, but know for sure that I am a powerful being inside this body, there are certain things I will stop doing and certain things I will start doing. If we just have a recognition as to what we truly are, there are certain things we will stop doing automatically, and certain things you'll start doing. You will not even need to go to a church or mosque or temple or synagogue or have anyone convince you. There are certain things you will just automatically stop doing, stop tolerating, stop accepting if you knew and realized what is animating you. But unfortunately, many of us live in this mass amnesia. Many of us live in this mass amnesia. Okay. We come here and we are unconscious. We wake up in the morning and we go through the rituals of our day. Brush our teeth, have breakfast, have a coffee, go to work, go to the business, start hustling, so on and so on and so forth. But we go through this life unconsciously. Many of us are going through this life unconsciously. We go through this life asleep. We think we are awake, but we're actually asleep. You understand? We go through this life asleep. And therefore, because we're going through this life asleep, it is not possible for us to know ourselves. Knowing yourself is not just knowing your physical weaknesses and your physical strengths. Knowing yourself is not just knowing your history, your background, your tradition, your ancestors. It's not just that, it's knowing what you are. Let me give another analogy that might help to drive this home for many of us. I was speaking with someone this weekend, and she made a very interesting statement. She's from West Africa, and she said, "We don't depend on welfare. We work and we make money. That is what we do. We don't depend on the government. We make money. We hustle and we make money." Now, why is this statement interesting? This statement is interesting because this is how she identifies herself. She's saying, "I am an African and I don't wait for or depend on handouts. That's not what we do. We have the capacity to work hard and we work hard and we get what we want." That's her mindset, and that's how she sees herself. And so when I said to her, "Well, you need to understand not all Africans think like that," she was finding it difficult to comprehend that because this is part of her self identity. I get what I want. I work for it and I get what I want. I break down obstacles and I get what I want. So when I said, "Well, there might be some Africans who don't want to work that hard and they want to take advantage of the system." And she's like, "Why? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to depend on $1,000 each month from Social Security when you can make $10,000 a month? Why?" So she couldn't even understand that thinking because it was not her identity. That was not her identity. She's like, "What am I going to do with $1,000 a month? Okay, how much is welfare going to give me? How much is TANF? How much is Social Security? How much is all these handouts and things like that?" For her, $1,000 is no money. But if you're talking about $5,000, $10,000, then you're talking about money because that's her identity. So I use this mundane example to illustrate the kind of boundaries and standards we establish when we recognize and understand what we are. When you know what you are, there are certain places you do not allow yourself to be seen in. You just don't go there. There are certain people you don't hang out with. You don't allow yourself to be seen with them. You don't intermingle with them. Your energy field does not mix with their energy field. You don't do that. When you know what you are, you recognize how temporary this world is. And you start recognizing what is important and what is not important. But many of us still operate from an ethnic identity or racial identity. Oh, Black people don't do this. Greek people don't do this. Albanian people don't do that. Indigenous people don't do that. And we identify with these labels. But how about identifying with our true nature which is the powerful spiritual being that showed up in this physical body. Imagine what it would feel like to feel yourself in your body. Imagine what it will feel like that you sat down, okay? You sat down and you're like, wait a minute. I am using this body like a tool. This body I'm living in is a tool. I want you to take a moment and calm down and feel that for a minute. I want you to look at your body right now and recognize that this body you are inhabiting, this body that you are spending so much time and money on, is actually a tool. And for some of us, that might be a difficult thing to conceive of. How can I look at my body and say it's a tool? But just sit for a moment and contemplate it, that you are sitting in this body and it's a tool. If this body you're sitting in right now is a tool, who is handling the tool? Who is using the tool? Have you ever wondered? My body is a tool. I spend money on it. I buy creams, lotions, potions. I buy makeup. I buy hair. I buy clothing. I buy underwear. I buy all kinds of things to dress up this tool. But who is using this tool? What is using this tool? So I want you to take a moment and think about that. What is using this tool? And many of us think that we are the tool. And so we're spending so much money on this tool. Oh, I got to get my acne cream. I got to go get this perfume. I got to go get these sneakers. And all my activities of daily living is geared towards the tool. I want the tool to be comfortable. I want the tool to look nice. I want the tool to present a certain way. But have we ever sat for a minute and say, what is controlling this tool? What is inside the tool and controlling the tool? Imagine your body is like a spaceship. Or if you can't imagine a spaceship, imagine that your body is just like a big ship. And if you know anything about ships, you just need a little rudder, okay, to control a mighty ship. A small rudder. A rudder is like a steering wheel. And you will have this little steering wheel, and you have a ship that is as huge as a building, longer than a building, taller than a building, and you're controlling it with a steering wheel. Who is or what is there turning the steering wheel that is controlling the ship, the direction in which, and the things that that ship is doing. Have you ever sat and wondered, okay, I have these clothes on, I have the jewelry on, I have this hair on, I have, all these things. I got makeup on, perfume on, I've got all these fancy things on. But what is inside this body that controls this body? Because I can say to myself, look right, and my head will turn and look right. I can say, look left, and my head will turn and look left. What is controlling that? And people start getting confused. People say, my brain. What is giving instructions to your brain to turn your head to the right and turn your head to the left? These are instructions that are being given to your brain. And then your brain executes it. Your brain sends signals to your muscles, and then your muscles in your neck and in your head will now obey. What is sending those instructions to your brain? And somebody will say, well, I think it's my mind. What is controlling your mind? What tells the mind what to think about and what not to think about? What tells the mind what to focus on and what not to focus on? What is the controller? That is what you need to know. And that's the meaning of know thyself, know yourself. What is that yourself that you need to know? Oh, it's me. Who is me? What is me? And are you now seeing that that me is pretty powerful? Because I could look at you and say, turn your head to the right. And you can say, no, I don't want to turn my head to the right. Because whatever it is inside you that is me has decided not to obey. So I could say, turn your head to the right, and you'll say, no, I don't want to turn my head to the right. And I could say, turn your head to the left, and you could say, no, I don't want to turn my head to the left. So, what is it inside of you that is making that decision not to do what I'm telling you to do? Do you know what it is? Some people will say, oh, it's my mind. Some people say, oh, it's the Spirit of God. There was one lady I had asked that question, and I said, what is it inside of you that controls you? And she said, Jesus. And I said to her, peace be unto you. Okay. Mommy Ade says soul and spirit and me. Okay. So what is that soul? We agree. It's a soul. What is it? What does it look like? So that Delphi oracle, know thyself, says know your soul. Because once you can know your soul, you become very powerful. And that's when your affirmations start working. That's when your prayers start working. That's when your invocations start working. That's when all the things that you're doing start working. When you recognize and are in possession of that inner authority over your soul. Mammy, I did say subconscious mind. It's not your subconscious mind. Your spirit and subconscious mind are not the same things. Your mind is just a tool. And many of us mix up the tool with the thing. We mix up the tool with the thing. So now let's go back to that little exercise that I posted today on TikTok and Facebook and the other one. What's it called? Instagram. My mind receives directives from my spirit. How do you connect with your guardian spirit? How do you connect with your guardian angel? Spirit does not speak in sentences. Spirit speaks in sensations. Spirit does not speak in sentences, it speaks in sensations. That is why when someone comes to you and says, the spirit told me to tell you, you can rest assured the person is lying. Once a person opens their mouth and say, the spirit told me to tell you, or I don't know who this message is meant for, but spirits told me to tell you, the person is already lying. Because spirit does not communicate in sentences, it communicates through sensations. And that is the reason why when we get that sensation in our solar plexus, we have to decide, is this a physiological thing that is happening to me? Or is it a spiritual thing that is happening to me? Thank you for the rose. Because when your guardian spirit, your guardian angel wants to talk to you, and you have lost the ability to directly interpret the symbolic messages, essentially, because spirit communicates with symbols and images. And many of us, like I said earlier, we lost the ability to directly interpret these symbols. We're growing up, and the adults around us say, grow up, stop daydreaming, stop telling lies. You didn't see anything, you didn't hear anything. And the child says, okay, maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm silly. And the child shuts down that ability. So, but your guardian spirit is still there trying to communicate with you. And your guardian spirit is there saying, I have important information for you. Or maybe you have been there going, oh God, please help me, help me, help me, somebody help me. Where are my spirit guides? Where is my guardian angel? Where is my guardian spirit? I need somebody, something, anything to come and help me. Okay, so they come to help you. How are they going to communicate with you and let you know that they're there? They go through your parasympathetic nervous system. And your gut is connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. And so you feel some kind of way in your gut. You might feel some kind of way in your chakra, your heart chakra, your third eye. You start feeling some kind of way. You start feeling some sensations. Because all these centers are connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. And so you have your spirit guides like your guardian spirit, your guardian angel, because your guardian spirit or guardian angel is a type of spirit guide. And I have videos on YouTube on all these things. Just look up my playlist on spirit guides. I have so many videos on this. Your guardian spirit or guardian angel is one type of spirit guide. Your ancestors are spirit guides, and there's a whole bunch of them. So they need to get your attention. So they press a button. And the way they press that button is by sending a specific energy frequency to you through your parasympathetic nervous system. And you feel it. That's why you feel it in your gut. That's why you feel it in your third eye. That's why you feel it in your heart or some other part of your body. Because you have two systems running through your body, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. You have two systems running through your body. And so your guardian spirit uses an energetic imprint to tap on your parasympathetic nervous system to say, hey, I'm here. And I have information for you. I'm here and I have information for you. I need you to pay attention. I have a message for you. And many of us who are still asleep say, oh, I'm having tummy ache. My tummy feels some kind of way. But I wonder why there's a problem over there. But my tummy feels some kind of way. But I noticed that when that problem started, I started having tummy ache. And we don't make the connection. We just think that that thing that's happening out of there is separate from what's happening in our guts or what's happening in our third eye. We think these are two separate things. We don't make the connection. Have you ever had a situation where you were sitting minding your own business and you started feeling a tingling here or a tingling in your forehead? And you try to start rubbing it away. Or you start massaging your forehead, massaging your temple, going, oh, I don't know. I just feel some kind of way. Mhm. But if you pay attention to the day and time you started feeling that sensation, you will notice that there's something important to you that happened to you at that precise moment you started getting that sensation. Something going on. Even your gut. There's sometimes you could be sitting and then your gut starts roiling. And it just happens for a few seconds and goes away. No more than a minute. And then it goes away, it doesn't come back. And you're like, oh, I wonder what that is. But if you pay attention to every event that happened to you that day and you note the date and the time those things happened to you, you can start making the connection. Let me give an example. There are some times when people are acting against my interest, I start feeling it here. Somebody somewhere in the world is acting against my interests. And when I say acting against my interest, they're actively acting against my interest. I will get that sensation here. And it will just be for like 30 seconds or less and go away, won't come back. That is my guardian spirit letting me know there is somebody somewhere who is acting against my interest. They're either saying something against me or doing something against me. But because I'm an adult who has been trained to stop paying attention to these things, I will sit and start wondering, oh, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder, I wonder. But if the same thing happened to an average child, the child will feel it and say, hey, Auntie Marge is doing something. Auntie Marge has just wrecked my toy. Or Auntie Marge has just taken away my food. The child will be very precise because they can go straight from sensation to interpretation. But many of us as adults, we have lost that ability. So we feel that sensation. And if we're perceptive enough, we're like, something has happened, something diabolical has happened here, or something diabolical is going on here. But we don't know exactly what it is. Because our guardian spirit came there and put an impression in the system. It's just like coming to your front door bell and ringing the bell. Ding, 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 ding. So you know that there's somebody at the door. You may not know who it is, but the fact that the doorbell rang lets you know that there's somebody at the front door. So you have that sensation in your body and you know that there's something going on. You may not know the details of it, but you know that there's something going on. And then now you're like, okay, did I have a dream that may shed light on who's ringing the doorbell? Is there a divination I got or I'm getting or I'm supposed to get that will let me know who's ringing that doorbell? Is there something that was said to me or shown to me today that will identify that person who's ringing that doorbell? Many of us have lost this ability. Many of us have lost this ability. And so what happens is that when we feel that sensation, we blow it off. Yeah, yeah. And then something happens, the calamity befalls us. We're like, oh my God, why nobody told me? I had no warning. Yes, you were warned. Yes, you were warned. Yes, you were informed. Oh my God, I didn't see this coming. You were warned. You were informed. You were warned. You were informed. You chose to ignore it. So, what we need to do is to return to the fundamentals. We need to return to fundamentals. We need to return to fundamentals. If my spirit guides are speaking to me, if my guardian spirit is speaking to me, if my guardian angel is speaking to me, how do I know this? Because when your guardian spirit is speaking to you, it's not speaking to the tool. It uses the tool to speak to the spirit. It's spirit to spirit communication, but it uses this tool. It uses this tool. This is a tool. And we should not lose sight of that fact that this is a tool. If I want to communicate with you, I will say, send me a DM. The DM is not you. You are not the DM. I can't go look at your profile or look at your profile picture and say that is you. Your profile picture is not you. The DM is not you. They're just tools for me to get in touch with you. This is just a tool. But unfortunately, many of us have taken this tool to be the real thing. And so we're more concerned about the tool than we are about the self. Know thyself. Know your spirit. Know your soul. Know the operator of the mothership. You need to know for yourself the owner and the ruler and the operator of the mothership. You need to be able to say, this is me. And this is what we worked on during my last retreat on reclaiming your authority. We did exercises, mechanical exercises that anyone can do to start perceiving the self, to start perceiving the spirit. Because once you start perceiving your spirit, you can start speaking and operating and acting from that spirit. So a lot of people don't even know what know thyself means. Oh, know yourself is, no, this other thing. No. It literally means what it means. It is literal. Know yourself. What is yourself? Not who is yourself, but what is yourself? That thing you're saying, it's myself, it's me, myself, you, yourself. What is that self? That's a controller of the mothership. And many of us spend so much time on the mothership, cleaning the mothership, adorning the mothership, fixing the mothership, worshiping the mothership, centering the mothership, that we ignore the operator of the mothership. Are we still on the same page, folks? If you're still with me, let's have your eye in the comment section. Trying to get my magnesium in. Oh, my eyes have been twitching. I think it's supposed to have different kinds of magnesium in here. For my glasses. I've been having twitching eyes. Magnesium. It doesn't even have the magnesium. There was another one that I saw online. It said it magnesium glycinate. It doesn't have that one. Well, this one has magnesium citrate. Is it ortate or ortate? Ortate, taurate, malate. Bio or by something, eight, carbonate, chelate, or chelate. It doesn't have the glycinate, so maybe I have to go look for the glycinate. Acorn, you have not sent me the email I asked you to send me for your prize. I have not. So I have no way of sending it to you. Okay, so send it to the correct email. So I want us to discuss this. I want us to discuss this. What exercises have you done in order to start recognizing yourself? What things have you done to start recognizing yourself? You take the glycinate? Okay. I thought the glycinate was in this thing. It says 8 forms of magnesium. Oh, well. Okay. Folks don't realize how powerful they are. So I want us to practicalize what we're learning here, because I've said a lot of things and people are going to go say, yeah, that's right. I agree. You're powerful. How do you demonstrate this power in your life? That's what I want to know. How do you demonstrate this power in your life? Who would like to share? How do you demonstrate this power in your life? And I don't think I'm going to post the replay of this class. I'm going to make it private on YouTube because I'm going to piecemeal it and then create other classes from it. So for those of you who are here during this live, you're lucky. So you better start asking your questions now, because once we're done with this class, I'm going to put it on private. It's not going to be available for replay, so that I can come back to it and start piecemealing it and make classes out of it. How do you demonstrate to yourself who you are? What exercises do you do to discover and connect with the operator of the mothership? We need practicals now. We need practicals now. All these little flying fruit fly type things, and I keep trying to take them out. And you see, inspire love. You see what you just wrote? Daily connection with spirit. That doesn't even mean anything. What does daily connection with spirit mean? Doesn't mean anything. I must respectfully say, it doesn't even mean anything. Oh, I have daily connection with spirit. Doesn't mean anything. I've given concrete examples. What specific things do you do? Meditation. Do you realize that meditation is a passive activity? How does meditation activate your inner authority in this reality? Because if you're connecting to your spirit through meditation, daily connected, and you're always connected, you shouldn't be having any issues. You shouldn't have any problems. Mm. Sometimes you have to resist the norm and make a conscious decision to follow your instincts, even if you make mistakes. Still getting there, but I'll take a try, perhaps by seeking affirmations and seeing how your body reacts to each one. No, I just dealt with it in this chat. What's the point of saying affirmations if you are the one saying it and not your spirit is saying it? There's a difference between you saying affirmations and your spirit saying the affirmations. There's a difference between you saying the affirmations and your soul saying the affirmations. Big difference. That's why the law of attraction did not work for a lot of people because they were busy with the affirmations. They were busy with the vision maps. They were busy with the what do they call them? The let me feel the emotion of already manifesting my desire. You see, where's Drew? You're saying about the same thing that Inspire Love said. You're listening to the inner voice. What inner voice? What inner voice? You see, you see, I think what's happened is that many of us have gotten caught up in these new age phraseology. Though I'm listening to the inner voice, I am connecting with my true self. I am elevating spirit. We use all these new age terms, but we still don't know ourselves. And so I know when folks like come and put this vague statement out there that either they don't understand what I'm saying or they haven't experienced what I'm saying. Like, for instance, in TikTok, you say angels, just the word angels. What does that even mean? Okay, just throw out a word, angels. Okay, let me throw out a word, dogs. Does that tell you anything? So you throw out a word, angels. I'm throwing out my word, dogs. If you how will I phrase this? What is required of you to know yourself is not just passive activity of sitting in meditation. It requires you to do something. It requires you to go beyond, oh, let me sit in meditation, or let me say some prayers, or let me say some affirmations. It's even beyond that. Because you can meditate all you want and pray all you want, okay? But if I say to you, send me a message right now without typing it in the comment section, without sending it me an email, can you do it? Let's go down to the nitty-gritty. Let's go to the practical. Let's say, like, okay, now let me use Rose Jewel as an example. God has spoken to me like that inner and sometimes verbally through others without consciously trying. Okay, I want to send you a message now, and I want you to write that message in the comment section now. Do you agree? Because if you say you hear an inner voice and that inner voice is your spirit, if you say that inner voice is your spirit, I will send you a message now, and I need you to write that message in the comment section. Are you ready to do that? Let me know in the comment section and I'll send you a message now. Spirit to spirit. And just in case you say, "Oh, you changed your mind," if you're ready to do it, I will write it on a piece of paper here in front of everybody. I'll write it and fold it so that it's not going to be changed. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not close enough to you. Do you see how everything you said just crumbled? If you are actually getting spirit to spirit communication, you should realize that time and space does not exist to spirit. Time and space does not exist to spirit. This is the reason why, if a child is in trouble somewhere or is transitioning somewhere, the mother could be in a totally different continent and say, something is going on with my child. She's not close to the child. There are mothers who know when their children are passing on the battlefield. Their child is in the military, and if that child is injured or transitioning, that woman will wake up at 3 a.m. and say, my child is no longer here, or something happened to my child. But she's not at the battlefield. She's not there. She's not in that country. She's not in that continent. How does that happen? There are some mothers, okay, something is happening to their child at school and they're over here doing something, and they'll stop and they'll say, something is happening to my child at school. They will get up, take their car keys, and drive out to that school. They will drive there, show up, and the child will be like, hey, mom, how did you know to come? That is spirit to spirit communication. The parasympathetic nervous system of the child was activated, and at the same time the parasympathetic nervous system of the mother was activated, and that communication happened. Has nothing to do with space and time. So that's why I issued that challenge. Do you see why I said earlier when someone says to you, Spirit told me to tell you, or God said to me to tell you, or I don't know who this message is for, but Spirit, all of that is hoo ha. Spirit does not use words. Spirit does not use sentences. Spirit uses sensations. If you were to speak with that mother and say to that mother, how did you know that something was happening to your child or something happened to your child? The mother isn't going to say, oh, the child, I saw this telegraph or telegram or this thing, and it came to my mind where my child said, oh, dear mother, I am under the bus. The mother will say to you, I felt something in my gut. And I immediately knew what it was. The mother will say, I felt so. And if you ask the mother, but that thing you felt in your gut, what the mother will say, I don't know what it was, but immediately I felt it. I knew what had happened. No words. They may have seen a picture in their mind. Sometimes they will see a picture, their child under the bus, their child trying to jump from the window of a burning building. But there's no mother that will say to you, okay, I was sitting there, and then a voice came to me and said, Maria, your child is under the bus. They will have a sensation and the impression will come. Boom. And the mother is not there. The mother is not nearby. Sometimes they will say to you, I saw a picture. Spirit speaks in symbols and sensations. And sometimes people will try to interpret what they saw and they'll say, okay, Spirit said to me, Spirit didn't say nothing to you. They saw a picture. They got an impression. Have you ever had this sensation where you're looking for something and you get the impression, go there and look for it? And you go there and that thing you're looking for is right there. Did any spirit come to you and say, oh, you know what, Tochi? Go into the kitchen, open the third drawer, dig through everything there, and that's where you're going to find the key. No. Tochi sits, she alters her state, connects with the spirit, asks, where's that key? Spirit says, here it is, shows a picture. So she gets up and goes there, and it will be exactly there. So when people say to me, and God said, and God told me, and this and that and whatnot, you see why I look at it with so much skepticism. And that's why I addressed it at the beginning of this chat. So it's a very easy test. That's why I say to people, okay, if you say you hear things, I will send you a message. Tell me what you heard. During the retreat we just concluded, we did an exercise And remember that this retreat that just concluded was done by video conference. So we had folks from Germany, Italy, United States present. And I had some cards, some oracle cards, and I asked them to tell me without showing them the cards first. I said, "Tell me what's on the card." Everybody in that retreat who used the right technique was able to say something about the card. And I'm here in my home. I'm here in my own space. None of them was near me. Some got the color, some got the concept, some got the number, and they're different continents in different time zones. So the question became, how did they know? How did they know? So when someone says to me, "Oh, it must have been angels," so did an angel go there flapping its wings? Came and looked at the card here and then flapped his wings and went over there and told them what was on the card? Spirit does not obey, does not have to obey the laws of time and space. I know that this might be a difficult concept to wrap your mind around, but again, I want us to contemplate this. If my soul, my spirit is not constrained by time and space, why do I have to wait for something to manifest? Why do I have to wait? If spirit is not constrained by time and space, why do I have to wait for manifestation? Why do I go to church and listen to someone who says to me, God will beautify it in due course, or God will fulfill it in due course? Why do I have to listen to that? Why do I have to believe that? Why do I have to accept that? Why? Why? Know yourself. Know yourself. This is the reason why when people come to me for divinations, they go to my website, tochi.us, and book a divination. And we meet for the appointment. I say to them, you are free to do whatever you choose to do, regardless of the results of this divination. Why do I say that? In light of the conversation that we've just had, why would I say that? Because most people do a divination for you and they will say to you, oh, this is a divination, and you must do this. But why would I say to somebody, and it's even on the form, if you go to my booking page to go book the divination with me, you will see it there in writing and you'll be asked to agree to it. Do you agree that regardless of the results of the divination or the outcome of the divination, you are free to choose what you want to do? And if you say no, then we don't have a divination. Why would I say to somebody you are still free to choose what you want to do, regardless of the results of the divination? Let me hear from you. Why do you think I would say that? Let me lick some more magnesium here. This magnesium, it just gives you a runny stomach too. Once I'm very careful with it, it starts softening up everything. So why? Why would I say that to somebody? You're free to do whatever you want to do. You're free to make any decision you want to do, regardless of the result of this divination you're doing with me. Why would I say that? And the reason why, if you notice, I keep coming back to this topic and I keep harping on it and I keep hammering at it because there's certain things I want you to get from this. There are certain things I want you to get from this our chat. There are certain things I want you to understand from it. Because we're here for practical spirituality. I want this to be practical for you. You walk away from this and you can start implementing it in your life. Equal says because the person they have free will. In addition, energy changes from the time they book the divination with you going on. Things may change or they may change. Okay. Okay. The reason why I tell people that they have the right to choose what they want to do, regardless of the outcome of the divination, is because I want them to operate from their spiritual sovereignty. I want them to have spiritual sovereignty over themselves and their affairs. There are people who come to me for divination and they totally abandon themselves to me. Oh, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. And they take their common sense and leave it outside the door. And even when you ask them to think about their situation, they refuse because they don't want to take responsibility for their situation. And sometimes a divination will show that they are the architects of their own situation. And so, if they are the architects of their own situation, they need to own that situation. But there are a lot of people who go to divination who refuse to own the situation. They're totally convinced that someone else is responsible for their predicament. And before you start thinking that I'm moralizing over this, I want to share with you that I too fall into this category. There are many times when I will go to someone else for divination, and because I have wrestled with the problem for so long, I just want it to be someone else's fault. I don't want it to be my fault. I don't want it to be attributed to me. I don't want to be responsible for the outcomes. I am going to do exactly what the diviner told me to do. I am not prepared to think about it or worry about it or reason through it because I am mentally fatigued. So I will do whatever that practitioner tells me to do so that if it does not work, I will blame the practitioner. This is called the path of least resistance, taking the path of least resistance. Many of us will take the path of least resistance, including myself. There are sometimes you have fought and struggled with a problem for so long, you are exhausted. And all you want is someone to help you solve that problem and get you the heck out of it so that you can move on with your life. You can just free up yourself. And so, even when the person says, hey, you have the freedom to do what you want to do, we don't want that freedom. We don't want that freedom. I don't want it. I will do whatever you tell me to do. I'm not going to think through it. I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, the divination say that it's my fault? It can't be my fault. I know my mother-in-law hates me. I know she put a hex on me. It can't be my fault. I'm just innocent here. They did this to me. That's what I want. That's what I want. So sometimes you have to remind the person that they are sovereign over their situation. That even if the divination is showing them ill portents, doom, and damnation, they still are in charge of the mothership and they can navigate their way out of their situation. You have to remind the person they are not completely helpless and hopeless and powerless. You have to remind the person because many times we forget that. I've come to you for divination. I'm at my rope's end. That's it. There, I don't know what else to do. Nobody will help me. Nobody knows what to do. I don't know what to do. The situation is out of control. If you don't help me, I am finished, and all that. And sometimes you have to stop and remind the person you are not totally helpless and hopeless and powerless. You still have some power here. You still have some agency. And if you can step back into your own power, if you can step back into your own power, you will find out that this situation is not as hopeless as you thought it was, and you're not as powerless as you thought you were. And reminding someone that they have agency can be one of the kindest things you will ever do. It can be one of the most compassionate things you will ever do. Reminding someone of what they are could be the kindest thing that you will ever do. Sometimes people just need to be reminded. They may have forgotten, or maybe they're not in a state of realization, and you have to remind them you are powerful. But the reason why you think you're not powerful is because you have not returned to your senses. If you return to your senses like the prodigal son, you will realize that you're not entirely without resources. You need to come back to yourself. You need to return to your senses. You need to remember what you are. Because once you remember what you are, then you will remember what you have access to. And then you will remember what you can do. Some of us need to be reminded of what we can do. Some of us need to be reminded. I have a dear friend I call King of Ginger. Okay? He's a brother. I call him King of Ginger. And the reason why I call him the King of Ginger is because this man can talk to you and motivate you to the point that you will go and meet a lion barehanded. By the time he is done talking to you, you will get up and go face a lion with your bare hands. When this man talks to you, you will never ever believe that there's anything impossible for you. That's why I call him the King of Ginger. And there are some times when I'm feeling like, man, my situation is overwhelming. And I call him, and he's a very busy man. But if he has time to talk to me and I call him, all it takes is 10 minutes. I am ready to go tackle Godzilla with my bare hands. That man will talk to you. And there was a time he was talking to me. I stopped. I said, "My brother, are you talking about me or somebody else? Are you saying that these are things I can do, or are you mixing me up with someone else?" This man had me so charged and so motivated. In the middle of the night, I was like ready to rise up and charge forth, go to the savannah or go to the forest and go look for some lions and tigers to tackle barehandedly by myself. And I say to you, if you can get people like that around you, you'll be all right. If you can get people like that around you, I swear you will be all right. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. Ah! There was one time he was talking to me. He's like, "Do you know who you are?" Says, "Do you know who you are?" And he says, "You don't know who you are. Do you know who you are?" And I said to him, "No, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know, and I don't remember." And he's like, "Sister Tochi, you have no idea who you are. You have forgotten who you are." Hi, my good. And he's on a different continent. He's talking to me and telling me these things from a totally different continent, totally different country, totally different continent. He's like, do you know? Do you know what you bring? Do you know your powers? And when he says powers, he says it in plural. Do you know your powers? And I said to him, no, I don't know my powers. What are my powers? Can you remind me what my powers are? And he will go on and on and on and on. Do you know how powerful you are? How can anybody mess with you? Are they not afraid of you? Do they know what you can do? Do they know your powers? And I will say to him, how about me? Can you tell me what my powers are? Because I kind of forgot what my powers are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody needs friends like that. Everybody needs friends like that. I swear, everybody needs friends like that. You you need you need friends like okay. Say I have powers. I go to bed sleeping. I have powers. I have powers. I have powers. I have many powers. I have powers, powers, and more powers. I am full of powers. I'm talking to myself. I have powers. I'm full of powers. But this is his attempt to make me accept responsibility for my reality. Because many times, just like any other person, I do not want to take responsibility for my reality. Bonsoir. Many times I don't want to take responsibility. I just want someone else to be responsible for my problems. I want someone else to be blamed for my problems. I want someone else to solve my problems. And that's a human thing. We all look for the least of path, the path of least resistance. But the spirituality many of us need to be stepping into is that of spiritual sovereignty. We need to start being sovereign. We need to start recognizing that we are not victims. We're not powerless. We're not helpless. We're not hopeless. There's something we can do. We need to start recognizing that. The time of sitting and putting 100% dependence of rituals is passing. And hear me when I say this. I am not saying that rituals do not have their place in the scheme of things. I'm not trying to say that rituals are not helpful or useful. But what I'm saying is that for us to evolve in our spirituality, we need to start rising above just doing rituals, just doing spells. We need to start rising above that. We need to start saying, okay, I can empower my own ritual. I can empower my own spell. I can empower my own prayers. I don't have to depend on Dr. Tochi. I don't have to depend on any pastor or apostle or evangelist or imam or mufti or afa or anybody or priest or rabbi. I don't have to depend on any baba or yeah or santero or santera to empower my work. There are some basic things I can do for myself. And those basic things, I can do them and they will work. That is where we need to be headed with our spirituality. And that is called spiritual power. There are people that we will do rituals for, and they don't even believe in the rituals we're doing for them. And my thing is, so why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your money? If you don't believe in all this spiritual work that is being done for you, if your spirit is against this work that is being done for you, why are you here? What are you doing here? Oh, I just figured, let me see, maybe this will work. You're wasting your time and you're wasting my time. Because the solution you seek is within you. For those of you who like the Bible, that's the meaning of the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom is where the power is. The kingdom is where the sovereignty is. A king is sovereign over his kingdom. A queen is sovereign over her queendom. Sovereign means the sole ruler. You're not sharing power. You are not sharing authority. The king doesn't go to take permission from someone else. The queen doesn't go to take permission from someone else. When they make a decision, so it is. I love the way the Yorubas will say it. The king does not suggest, the king commands. But many of us go through life suggesting. Oh, you need to command your life. And we stay there saying, I command, I command. Who is the I that is commanding? Is it your tongue and your lips? Or is it your spirit that is commanding? What is doing the commanding? That's what makes a difference. That's what makes a difference. Okay. So anyway, folks, I want to go out and play. And like I said, I'm going to put the replay of this chat on private for now, because I want to review it later and create some teaching material out of it. Remember, we have two events coming up on November the 19th. We have a one-day workshop. Build your ancestral altar and do your ritual on it. That's going to be for 2 hours on November the 19th. And November the 20th, we're going to start our 7-day fast and cleanse workshop or retreat. If you need to be detoxing, if you need to be cleansing, if you need to be resetting yourself, you want to join us for that retreat. It will start on November the 20th. Okay. If I have enough energy, if I haven't had too much fun, I'll come back on tonight. We can continue this conversation. If not, we'll continue it tomorrow. All right. So I hope we all have learned something. I hope I have been able to light a fire under you to get you thinking. You know, to get you thinking. Right. We're thankful to our Creator, our guardian spirits, our ancestors, and our spirit guides for today's lesson in forbidden fruits. We're grateful for this journey of reintegration with ourselves. Ashe. So if I can hop on again later on tonight, I'll do that. If not, I'll be snoring away. All right. Love you all. Dorian, take care.